Hey everyone, and welcome back to another out of spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing in Northern Colorado. Today is a very exciting day. We have one of the most hotly anticipated vehicles of the year, the brand new Rivian R2. And in today's video, we're going to be taking this thing through a full build quality analysis series where we're going to walk around the exterior of the vehicle, get a feel for the fit and finish as well as panel gaps to see how R2s are actually being built right now. We'll then jump inside, dive a lot into the interior, talking about all the different materials used to see if this is really a true cost-cutting exercise that you're actually going to notice, or if it still has that premium Rivian DNA. I am so excited for this video, so sit back, relax, and let's dive into it. Well guys, thank you for joining me on today's video. I could not be more excited to have a Rivian R2, a customer delivered Rivian R2 in the shop today for a full build quality analysis. First things first, I have to give a huge shout out to my friend Brandon Tesla Flex, who is actually now Rivian Flex maybe, but he just picked up this brand new launch edition R2 Performance, and it's been through quite a bit already. So I'll keep you posted on what's going on with that, but it is all about this thing. Now, the interesting thing here on this channel, we've been doing these build quality reviews for quite a while now. And Rivian is one of those companies that I have thankfully been able to really see from the start of R1T production all the way through R1 Generation 2 and now to R2, following along with their build quality. My impressions of Rivian in the very early days, they were doing such an amazing job building these cars. And then, as we know, production ramp was kind of hell for them, and there was quite a bit of things that I saw on this channel documented for you guys, showcasing some of those build quality issues. Moving into R1S and R1T Generation 2, quite a lot got better, but still some quality control improvements that I would like to see. So I'm now curious to see on the R2, their cheaper entry-level vehicle, how this is actually going to stack up. What I'm hoping to see here is that they are actually taking some time to massage these vehicles. These vehicles are going to be a mass market vehicle for Rivian. So hopefully the start of this will be good. I will definitely be updating you guys with videos as VINs get deeper and deeper into the thousands. I think they're roughly in the 2000s right now getting delivered. There's a ton of folks who have awesome content on YouTube surrounding the Rivian R2, but this one, kind of a special one, diving into the build quality review. So guys, this video will be very long, so I'll chapterize this out, skip over the stuff you don't care about, skip directly to the stuff you do care about. I want to take my time with this. This is a very important car with Rivian, and I want to ensure that their build quality is looking good. So we're going to point out the good, we're going to point out the bad, all of the stuff in between. And I also have a friend here with me, Mr. Eric from Drive Protected, who just installed a full PPF kit on this, and it's looking pretty darn awesome. So first things first, what do you actually need to know about the Rivian R2 Performance? This is the launch edition version, retailing right at $57,990 MSRP. Now this vehicle, as you can see, has the beautiful Catalina Cove color on it, which is a $2,000 option, bringing it up to $59,990 sticker price without destination. So definitely pushing into the low $60,000 range here. Now specs on this vehicle, you should know this is optioned with the 21-inch all-season tungsten wheels on this, a no-cost option. And this comes right in at 330 miles of EPA rated range, 3.6 seconds 0 to 60, 656 horsepower on the Rivian R2 here. So a very impressive vehicle, but we're going to be evaluating this as a $60,000 vehicle. We'll also make some comparisons in this to, I would say, its main competitor, the Tesla Model Y, the Juniper variant. We'll talk a little bit about that, but mostly going to be focused on the Rivian R2. So what do you guys say? Let's dive into the review here, starting on the exterior fit and finish. Well guys, this is my friend Eric from Drive Protected. He just had this Rivian R2 up in Canada, actually, at his shop in Winkler, Manitoba. So I want to give Eric a couple of minutes here. He's going to run through the full build quality review with me because you've spent a ton of time with this car. You've had this car for 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. You've also put 2,000-ish miles on it?
Oh, 2,229 miles.
Holy cow. Okay, so you've got some experience with R2, which is why I wanted to have Eric on this video. He can tell me about it. Number one thing I'm noticing, Eric, is you are a tall guy, and R2 I think is very hard proportionally to see how actually small this car is, especially compared to R1. So I was actually driving home today, funny enough, to go meet you for dinner, and I saw a black Rivian, and behind it was quite a large, I think it was a Ram 2500, something like that. And I'm like, that Rivian looks very, very small. What's up with that R1S? Is it like, you know, slammed on air suspension? Then I drove, you know, I turned left and saw the side of it. I was like, oh, it's an R2. It is really interesting how close the DNA here is, the whole design language of the vehicle is to R1S. And I think that's a really good thing. Those I feel like are very premium vehicles. This definitely, to me at least, exudes a very premium experience for a mass market vehicle. So that'll be interesting to check out here. So Eric, what do you say we dive into the exterior review here, talking about all the fit and finish, all of that fun stuff. I have also brought this with me as well. If you guys know what this is, you might be able to see some little numbers on here. So all of these are in millimeters. What this tool actually does is I can essentially stick it in gaps here. I can tell you what it looks like to the naked eye, do some measurements to see how on or off these actually are, and give you an overall feeling. So Eric, on openings and closings, I like to see somewhere between 3 to 4 millimeters on things that open. So that would be the front trunk area here, door closures. Overall, what I'm looking for is consistency, right? I don't want to see, you know, this side have a gap like this and then the other side be touching paint or something like that. So do understand there is some PPF on this car that might throw some of the readings off a little bit here and there. So just if you do notice it, you notice it. So let's start off here with this large front hood here. Now, first things first, looking at this, nice and flush all the way through. You can see this crease body line, how it goes right through this, all lining up very nice. If I'm looking at this, I am seeing quite a large gap versus down here. You can see it's quite a bit tighter. So let's get a quick measurement on that for you. So right about a 5 millimeter gap. And then you can actually see here, this is below a 3 millimeter gap there. So quite tight, but honestly looks very, very nice. Eric, the funny thing here, and I actually just pointed out to you earlier, this edge looks great until you actually see deeper into it. It's literally missing paint inside of there. Reminds me of early days of Tesla. I'm curious to see if it's actually like that on the other side. I don't know if you guys can clearly pick that up, but I can clearly see about, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch into that edge. It is missing paint all the way in. What I do have to say, looking all the way good, all the way throughout. As we come up here, shuts looking good. You can see how the ovals here right into the light fitting very, very nicely. That was a problem on R1s as well. We've got a little bug. He just wants to hang out on an R2 too. Why wouldn't you? It's a pretty cool little car here. All looking very good here. As I move to this side, without even measuring it, I can tell you very spot on from driver's side to the other. Now what's interesting here is, yeah, pretty much the same exact thing. Noticing a little bit larger gap here, a little bit tighter here. Importantly, all looking nice and flush throughout. Even down here, looking pretty darn precise there. Very nice job to Rivian.
From side to side.
Very consistent from side to side for sure. So coming to the front bumper here, Eric, they've changed quite a bit up front here from the R1 platform. Noticeably, this large gray bumper piece here, which I absolutely love. This is now a metallic color instead of gloss black. This is going to scratch way less, going to look way nicer overall. Now, what I also want to show you here is how nice and tight everything is in the whole headlight section, looking really, really precise, even to the bumper, all the body lines up. Very, very good job to Rivian there. I am noticing here on this little fender flare in this area, not lining up so great, a little bit pushed in here, a little bit not perfect there. We just washed this car, by the way. That's why water's still dripping out of it. So this, to me, you can see needs a little crank. It's a little bit loose on there. I'm gonna give them a pass on that. That is very, very nitpicky, but that's what I'm here to do, Eric.
Yep.
So let's check out this other side over here as well, see how it looks. This one actually lines up quite a bit better. Very good job there. Looking at this, all looking very, very nice and tidy. Even this headlight here, I really like how tight they've gone with all of their edges on this. Headlight housing looking absolutely perfect. What I'm curious to see, yeah, they have really done a lot of difference here between R1 and R2 platform. R1's typically clips kind of popping out here, notorious for these not being so sucked in quite as well. So very good job to Rivian there. You can also see we've got tow hooks down here. I believe the standard version and the non-performance, maybe, could be wrong, somebody will tell me otherwise on that, come actually without these. So that'll be interesting to see how that looks. Very much like how they've actually hidden the camera right there. Very nice and sleek throughout. Now, Eric,
I will say this though.
Yeah.
That camera right there, you get bugs on it, you lose your cruise control.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, good point. No camera washer on that.
There was a couple times on my road trip down here where cruise was starting to give me issues. I'd pull over, clean the bugs off of it, and then we're good.
Okay. See, this is why we have Eric here. Good consumer advice. Love it. All of this down below, all the tow hooks, everything looking nice. You can actually see the blinkers have moved down here as well. Everything fitting perfectly well down here. Very good job. Now, Eric, one thing I was concerned about that they did with R2 platform, haptic buttons here, my friend. So you can see this button here as the car wakes up. As the car wakes up.
Needs his coffee first. Let me get the key.
Wow. Interesting how this trim here.
So one thing I noticed, because we were opening and closing these latches, or the hood, and we were opening and closing everything a million times around, is it was very inconsistent. Like even with the button, like we'd have to stand there, we'd click it 5-6 times, nothing would happen.
So are you clicking it right now?
No, now I'll click it. There we go. Now it works.
Interesting. Okay.
But there are a lot of times where it did not work. Same with the rear hatch. And then we would sometimes have the key on the other side of the shop and we'd be working on it, and then all of a sudden the lights would turn on and blind us.
Interesting. Yeah, Rivian's had some key.
Maybe Brandon was sitting at home.
He could have been. But I will tell you, from working on a ton of Rivians, the key situation has always been annoying to me. The haptic button thing, to me, I just got to be honest, I'm going to call it as it is. It's stupid. The reason being is, in the winter time, how are you going to open that? Do you have to have the key fob? This is meant to be phone as a key vehicle. You don't have to carry the fob with you. Why would I want to go into the vehicle software inside to open the front trunk? That's annoying. And
to be honest, personally, as a consumer, I would never use it.
Yeah, it's annoying. So what you also notice here about how this opened, Eric, it is power open, but it's not technically power open because they're using gas struts here.
Right.
So you can actually see the gas struts in here. Now, the keen viewer, or me, might notice you can see some paint missing on all of the bolts here. So this to me says that Rivian is definitely doing quality control at the factory. I love to see that. It sucks that we're missing paint on those, but that's a key indicator, especially if you guys are picking up a new car. Check all the door jambs, look at all of the bolts in there. If a lot of these are like this, completely stripped off with paint, that car has been through a lot of work. I would prefer they do not have a ton of work. They should get them right the first time, not have to adjust a ton of stuff. But I can tell you, they're definitely trying to do quite a bit here. Now, Eric, I was noticing up here all of their plastics throughout here, and I gotta say, this seems like an actual improvement over R1 with how these fit. I've noticed many times these on R1s not really fitting that great. These are a little bit loose in areas, but I think I can absolutely give them the pass. This looks very good. All the moldings in here looking great. I mean, some fit and finish things like this, totally give it a pass because this is an under trunk area. Now you do still retain quite a large front trunk here. One thing, never mind. You actually do have a drain in here, which is awesome. So if you want to throw ice in here, you want to like have a little pond full of fish, you could put that in the front.
Well.
Yeah, exactly. You could put that in the front of your R2. Couple of things I do want to note here. Some trims like this, literally cleaning them, these like don't even sort of stick in. That feels a little chintzy and flimsy to me. I mean, even just barely touching them, they're popping out.
Just have a look on the inside over here.
Right, yeah. That kind of stuff is not great. So this to me feels like it's supposed to actually be glued on, and it's definitely supposed to be glued on because it's pulling apart there. Now, the other side is actually way worse than this. I know we're getting into the details here, but that's what these videos are all about. This kind of stuff, guys, really does not scream quality to me. So definitely some massaging needed underneath the front trunk. Again, this is not an area a lot of people are looking. Just wanted to point this stuff out. So being that these are gas struts, Eric, you cannot just close this. Now, Model Y doesn't even offer this.
They don't even offer an opening frunk.
Correct. They do not have any powered frunks other than Tesla Cybertruck. So this is nice that it does open powered here. But the interesting thing here is this is pretty tight to do. Now, once you get it to this latch point here, so Eric's going to press it in, then it's going to self-close in, put a bunch of nice fingerprints all over the Rivian logo. So I got to say, overall, my first impression feelings from the exterior, the front end of the vehicle, really good job so far. Really, really good job. Some oddities in the front trunk, but I think we can give them mostly a pass there. Now, I want to spend some time talking about this, Eric. This to me seems like a large design flaw. Why do I say that? This mirror housing has 1, 2, 3 cameras. You imagine somebody going through a parking lot or somebody backing out of their garage. They take out their mirror.
Happens all the time.
That is going to be an ungodly expensive piece of hardware there. This might become one of the most expensive mirrors on the market, bar none. I would not be surprised there. So that is something to be mindful of. If you are a notorious garage door hitter, make sure you are actually folding in your mirrors. Now, one other interesting thing Eric noticed about the mirrors here, they're actually different sizes or different lengths. And that is actually down to this section here. So the passenger side, I think you told me about 1.5 inches or so.
Yeah, about 1 inch, 1.5 inches longer on the passenger side than the driver's side.
Really interesting. That's the kind of stuff us PPF installers and detailers and all us nerds actually notice here. Now, a couple of things I do want to mention here. Rivian plastics, I've never been a fan of. These look higher quality in my impression, just looking at them so far, than on our One product. So glad to see that. What I'm not glad to see is some of the stuff down here. This entire plastic housing is actually not fitting in. Eric says he has tried to push that fully in there, and yeah, it's not going in. Pretty interesting mirror design there, but nonetheless. So moving down the door, we've looked at this. I want to take a minute and look at some of these plastic pieces, because these are areas Rivian has really struggled with. Excellent execution here. What you'll also notice as well, oh, Eric, did you see this already?
Yeah, how the badges are lower.
Well, it's like, well, it's like a sticker, is it? No.
Yeah,
oh,
it is.
Oh, actually, I'm completely wrong here. I thought this was a fold in a sticker. It's not. It's part of the actual light there. But it looks really cool.
Yeah. I don't know. It kind of looks like it should be a little bit higher up, though.
No, I think it's... originally looking at that was like, oh my gosh, there's a fold in that actual yellow of it, because I have heard people say this is a sticker. This is actually printed on the actual light there. Totally okay with that. Alignment looks fantastic here. And I really like that they've added these vents. Now, those vents are going to help with rock chips down the side of the car by eliminating quite a bit of rocks there. Big thumbs up on that. Really impressed by it. So moving down the side of the car, one thing I love about the R2 here is the completely frameless window design here. So you can actually see there is no molding. It is basically just the body going straight up into there, and you actually have a little rubber seal here. That is one of those areas I would imagine they are cutting a ton of cost out, and this is also an area that is going to make build quality even higher because they don't have to line up those pieces. Speaking of areas that are always challenging for manufacturers, moving into the doors here. Guys, look at the execution here. Very, very good job all the way throughout. Doors looking fantastic all the way down, very consistent. If you guys want, I can give you a little bit of a measurement here. Just about a 3.5. Very nice and tight there. Looking down here, man, they're doing a really good job, Eric. They're doing a really good job here.
It is.
I am more impressed with this car than I thought I would be. I kind of thought I was going to come into this and be like, ooh, yikes, there's some real build quality issues here. So far, that is not my impression. It really seems like they are actually taking some time to dial these cars in, which I'm really, really glad to see. Even looking at areas like this is a challenging area, right? Because you've got the door, if this starts sagging a little bit, you do notice it ever so slightly. totally would give them a pass. Then you've got this little molding piece that actually clips right in there. All of this, honestly,
this is on the rear quarter too, which doesn't have any kind of movement in it, whereas the door, you know, it's going to have all kinds of movement, people pulling on it and that
exactly
type of thing.
And you even notice this hard body line. This is a thing even on some very high-end vehicles. We were actually seeing this on Porsche Macan Electric, that some hard body lines like this, they were misaligning them. Guys, the doors fit perfectly flush here. Everything's looking great. One area I am curious to feel, door handles here. They don't squeak.
No,
oh my gosh. Good. Wow. They actually feel really nice. So they do feel mechanical to me. You can actually have this kind of, whoa, maybe that wasn't. Maybe it's like half electronic. Yeah, that's electronic in there. You can hear it going. And then you almost feel like you get into a mechanical thing. I'm pretty impressed by the doors. What do you think about the door shuts? That's always something people talk about.
I was impressed with it.
Yeah. Rear doors here, I can feel a little clackety from the latch. Not bad. Slam that one. Solid, dude.
Solid.
Really solid. Big thumbs up from me. Moving back here, let's talk about these fender trims. These fender trims are areas Rivian has struggled with tremendously, especially on R1S. These things, you feel like you could absolutely pull them out. Looking absolutely perfect there. Very, very nice job. Now, what's also cool with these, Eric, we have a new location for a charge port, and this vehicle also has NACS. Now, I have bitched and complained forever, to put it lightly, about Rivian charge ports being overly complicated. I think they listened to me. You guys are all welcome for having a manual charge port. Now, some people are going to say, well, it's not premium because it doesn't open itself and close itself. When I go to drive off, this is going to be open. This
happened to me once on the trip.
Did it?
Yes,
that's funny. But this is going to have way less mechanical failures. Kyle's literally flew off on his R1T, his original one that had the whole twist action like a Koenigsegg door. And this is the proper way to go. Now, some funny little Easter eggs in this car. You can actually see that it has a maze on the back of this. Many content creators have shown this. Nice little Rivian logo here. I would assume very similar to Tesla. This shows your charging indicator, whether the charger stopped, it's going to turn red, charging green or blue or whatever the case is. Again, I have not done much with this vehicle other than wash it here. Okay, maybe I don't like that.
It's a bit flimsy. I will say that.
It needs some rigidity to it. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
And it does stick out a little bit from the rear quarter.
Well, and I'm also noticing it doesn't fit that great either, Eric. It looks like it needs a little twist up action. But early days of R2 here, not going to give them a pass on that. That needs to be dialed in. What's interesting they've also done here, and I think this is probably for a repairability cost-cutting measure, is having what I would consider a bumperette. We actually saw this very similar on Model Y. Model Y did the same thing. Instead of having a huge bumper that wraps all the way around.
Cost savings.
Exactly. And important.
Easier to wrap.
Yeah, way easier to wrap. And importantly, on R1s, this whole panel, this is an area a lot of people actually dinged up, and it was costing them tens of thousands of dollars to get these repaired, because it's, on the R1T especially, it goes all the way over the B pillar into the A pillar. Like, it's an absolute mess for this. So I think this is a really smart move there. Now, tail lights here, beautiful LEDs in this as well. I don't know if you can turn those on at all for right now. We can do it later. It's not a big deal. But how these lights fit in here, really nice. I will say this doesn't line up 100% perfect. There you go. You get a really, really nice light all the way through there. Loving how that looks. Hopefully it comes out on camera okay. But noticing some small little massaging that this actually needs here. I will tell you guys, if you're washing these cars, this whole rear end leaks like an absolute sieve.
I feel like it holds all the water you spray at it.
That's a good point. I mean, I was trying to get all the dirt out of here. So yeah, I guess it is what it is. So coming back to this rear hatch here, a lot has changed here. Now, Rivian, of course, Eric, wanted to keep this boxy SUV look, and I think they did an exceptionally good job with it. Now, what they also did is provide some aero benefits here by actually sloping the roof here. So if you actually look, they did this nice little trick here by having these essentially vents to keep the air coming down here, improving efficiency, improving the overall range. And this is a very nice implementation, having this kind of spoiler. You've got your Chemsel up here. I just got to say, all the little parts and details in here, this is not an easy thing to do. They've done a very nice execution of this.
It looks really good.
Really good job. You can also see here, this is actually where your windshield wiper fluid is going to come out. That brings me to a controversial area here. Now, I gotta say, actually seeing this in photos, it looked horrible in my opinion. This in person actually looks really well done.
Especially when you stand further back, you basically don't see it.
Totally agree. And what the designers are going for here is having a clean back end and not just slapping a wiper here. And then by doing this whole design up here, they couldn't put a wiper up here. My concern with this over time is dirt buildup in here. Now, they claim they have done the testing on this. They have, you know, run this through the seasons. It's a non-issue. I think they actually heat this up as well, if I remember right. But it does drain actually through the tailgate, through the light a little bit. Again, I will tell you, I think this is gonna leak like a sieve and just have water pouring out of it all the darn time.
Should I open it and see how much comes out?
I think we're okay for right now. We'll get to that point in a second, but I do want to mention this. So this is one of very few cars that you can actually roll down the rear glass. Now, Eric has the key in his hand right now. My hopes are I'm going to press this haptic button and it's going to work perfectly the first time, unlike it did earlier. So I'm going to hold this. The car is unlocked, by the way.
Yeah.
The key is right there. Oh, there it goes. And then it went down a little bit. Yep. Okay.
Now it goes up.
So is this a one-touch action? I'm doing it wrong, Eric.
Yeah, but can you get it to close? I've struggled to get this thing to close.
One touch. One touch. This is so dumb.
Me and my team, we struggled with this.
Why do we have haptic buttons on cars? This is insane. What happens when the car's dirty?
That's actually the most I've ever got it to go back up.
All right, let me try. I'm going to fat thumb this thing. Do you have to hold it up now?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, dude. Okay, well, you have a rear piece of glass here that doesn't want to go up, so we'll have to do that from the inside. I hate the haptic button implementation here. 0 out of 10 fan of that. But back here, some interesting things. Absolutely love the 3D design of the Rivian logo here. Really looks nice, very imposing here. You have your nice little R2 badge here. And I will also notice here, all of that gray plastic that was on the front end. This is essentially a bumper that is painted plastic here. I really do like that. My only issue with this, Eric, a lot of people are going to be throwing stuff in here. So you want to make sure you PPF this because this is going to get destroyed.
Absolutely.
Now, how you actually open this, finger right above the V.
Yep.
That's how you know. It was below the V on the R1S. So
there we go.
Leaking like a sieve. The interesting thing is, it actually comes out through here. So I don't know if they drain it intentionally through here or these weep holes here, but it's coming out here, which does make me concerned over time for water buildup in here. We'll see how that plays out. But as you can see back here, I've actually got this flipped up right now. So this is loading into it. This is going to get absolutely destroyed. I personally wish they would have put plastic here. I think that would look better over time. I don't think a ton of people are going to spend the money to put PPF here.
Nope, I would agree.
Yeah, that's going to look like crap in about 2.5 business days, folks. Really interesting as well. So you have the gloss black components up here, then plastic, then you have this kind of lighter silver down here. I gotta say, dude, I am really impressed with the fit and finish around this vehicle. I am very much struggling to find things, and that is a good thing. I did not expect this coming in. Now we can close this up here. See how this actually closes. You can see the car is still dripping after we've dried it multiple times. Really nice trunk close there. Slightly noisy on the end. I have 0 complaints with that. What I am curious about is how all this lines up. And this is where we're starting to see a little bit of issues. This body line should be perfectly straight.
This one is just about straight here.
Yeah, and this light is also sticking in. This one's sticking out. This looks good, to be fair, up here. But over on this side, I would say this one's quite a bit better. That light's still sticking out. So definitely some massaging areas back here, I would say, on the rear tailgate. Honestly though, everything else looking really, really good here. I'm impressed by that. Very, very much impressed by it. Let's come over here to the passenger side. We'll do a little bit more of a speed run because, man, we are taking our sweet time with this video, but I think it's worth it for the R2. All these plastic moldings, dude, they have done a great job. And I think by the design of this, how it actually molds into the body, very well executed here compared to R1 platform as well. Not having those clips buckle it out quite as much. These also feel like they are clipped in very, very well. Maybe on the end here needs a little bit more, but importantly, lining up perfect. Doors lining up perfect.
Door handles.
Yeah, door handles, you did mention this to me as well. So Eric was showing here that the door handles here definitely sit in quite a bit, especially on the back. This one is totally fine. And we'll also notice on the driver's side here, these are actually nice and flush. So door handles, still a little bit of an issue there. I would say decently passable, but definitely that one needs to get massaged. It's a little bit far in there. So as we move down here, molding's looking great throughout. Can see this body line very consistent all the way throughout. Guys, they have done a very, very good job at executing this vehicle on exterior fit and finish. I am really, really impressed by this, and I did not expect to be saying that. All of these molding issues that I've seen on R1, even years into production, are not here on R2. Now, that's not to say once production ramp truly hits, those won't become issues, but this is a very, very, very good start for them. Now, I just want to check out inside of here as well. If any of our bolts are missing paint, they are not. So they are definitely doing quite a bit of work before they actually start painting these things to ensure they're going well. And again, great door slam there. Eric, I got to tell you what, dude, I'm going to give this thing a 9 out of 10 on exterior fit and finish. I think they definitely deserve that. I think they nailed it. I'm really impressed by it. Wow. Good job, Rivian.
Yeah.
Very good job,
Rivian. Little tweaks and it's a 10 out of 10. That, in my opinion, is pretty good for a first edition of a new vehicle.
I totally agree, dude.
What will it be like in a year if they keep this up, you know? Could be a 10 out of 10.
Absolutely. And I'm also curious to see, they're building their new Georgia plant. These are currently being built in Normal, Illinois. I'm curious to see what that looks like. That's going to be a whole new batch of challenges for them, starting up a new factory, making sure everything's dialed in. Guys, this is really, really, really well executed by Rivian. Great job, guys. Let's jump in to the inside. All right, Eric, you have popped in the driver's seat of the R2. You are 6'4" and actually look pretty darn comfortable in this thing.
This was my driving position for 2,229 miles.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
pretty awesome. So we'll talk about space optimization here. What I want to focus on though, first off, is interior overall. Now, they did not launch with the light colored interior. I personally think that's a little bit of a miss, but actually we just got an update today. The Coastal Cloud interior is going to be available for order in August. So it is now August. So they are coming out very, very soon. I don't know why the case is that they didn't launch with white. I personally think that was kind of a mistake. I know a lot of people wanted white. They're waiting for orders to come in. So it sounds like, to me, probably what they did, they wanted to get one interior so that they didn't have a ton of different parts, probably ease of manufacturing there, putting these cars together. So small little lapse there. I don't think it's the end of the world. My impression of the black interior is it is actually pretty nice for a black interior. You know, you can see the seats here. They've got some copper stitching in them, which I think look really nice. The seats, dude, are also really comfy.
They are.
Really, really comfy. Now, they also did quite a bit of treatment here with some different textures, materials. This looks to be a very different wood from R1, which I know that was a headache for them, like the open grain pour wood that they did there. I actually watched a Monroe video. Shout out to the Monroe guys. They're just awesome. They, you know, do full teardowns on cars, and they were talking about the immense amount of labor and cost that went into doing the dashboards here. Think they had to learn. But again, you even have laser etchings here. These are some really nice premium touches. I love the use of cloth in interiors. My only negative with this, Eric, the dark feels dungeony to me. That's my only real feeling with it. And you can like...
It could use a little bit of a brightening up.
Just needs a pop of something
Yes,
somewhere.
definitely.
I don't know. It just feels very, very dark. Everything you look at is just dark, muddy tones, but that's kind of what they're going for, right? Not everybody wants a white interior. A lot of you would rather go with a black interior. What I can tell you about Rivian's materials in general, specifically their seats, their vegan leather, some of the best in the industry, if not the best. The way that it wears over time, how easy it is to clean, whether you have the white interior, the forest edge, the black mountain, they all clean amazingly well. These feel almost exactly the same to R1. So I don't know that to 100% be the case, but I'm really pleased by that. Now, Eric, one of the interesting things as I'm looking at the door card here is what Rivian was going for here is an overall pretty premium feeling vehicle, but specifically from the waist up, they wanted to keep everything really nice, really soft touch. And then from the waist down is where they're doing some cost cutting exercises. And that is really showcased here on the door. So you look up here, this is a pretty decently soft touch material. I will say this doesn't feel the highest quality to me. This feels a little bit more rubbery, I would say, than a vegan leather material. This down here feels very nice. So you've got black stitching here. You can see you've got this cloth where your ambient lighting comes in. Really nicely done there. I think it gives a good 3D design. You've got your bronze stitching, which matches the seats here. You even have some cloth accents here. So I like all of this. This actually feels totally fine to me. Even coming down here to where your armrest is, you've got your stitching here. You've got your electronic door latch here. These are all plastics in here, but they actually feel really, really premium. Now, the area of concern for me is all of this. This is cheap injection molded plastic, and it does not feel nice. Like you can see little plastic frays coming off here. That type of stuff was my main concern with this car, Eric. And my one main concern with this is plastic doesn't wear well, right?
No.
It is one of those things, once it gets scuffed, it is permanently scuffed. This area is going to be utter and absolutely destroyed in the matter of 3 minutes. Anybody who takes their car hiking, you go camping in your R2, this is going to be destroyed. I really think that was a huge miss in a lot of these areas, doing very cheap plastic. These whole door cards down here going to be filled with scuffs. That to me is my one big negative with R2. And a lot of people would be saying, Colton, this is a $60,000 car. And I would argue, guys, you can go pick up a Model 3, a Model Y for way under the price point of this and have an entire door card full of very nice soft touch vegan leather. This area is all carpeted.
More premium feel.
Yeah, there's very little to, if any, plastic in a Tesla interior now. So that for me is a little bit of a bummer. You look at the side of the seats here. This is all plastic. I will say this does have some nice texture, so they tried to kind of make this feel a little bit better. I did notice something though, Eric, that I'm a little concerned about. And I think you can see it on the seats there. So you guys see that flap? That should be clipped in somewhere underneath the seat. So what that actually does is I can lift up this entire cushion. I could probably take that cushion off of the bottom seat there. It is also like that on the driver's side.
Yeah, not good.
Don't love that. So that definitely needs to get fixed. Now what I do like on the lower bits, they've actually kept the R1 carpets here, which is a very good carpet at hiding dirt, which also means it's very annoying as a detailer to actually vacuum. But it does wear very nice, so I'm really impressed by that. I believe these are called the Chili Witch floor mats on here, so they are almost like a woven deck chair, I would say. The lighter ones never worked well if you got the Ocean Coast interior on R1. These darker kind of greenish ash ones I think will be totally fine. The interesting thing with these, if you ever want to deep clean these, you actually flip them over, take compressed air to them, all the dirt falls out. They hold a ton of dirt and grime in there for sure.
Oh man.
So, couple things here, center console. I actually quickly want to show the key as well while we're in the inside. So, they have done the launch green color on here, which is kind of a shame. It's cool if you get the green colored vehicle, but like green and blue don't really look that great. I really wish they would have matched this to the car color for the launch editions. That would be cool, but very cool key design here. Kind of compass yellow, anodized gold color. What I also want to showcase here, and I actually saw our friend Mr. Jeebs have a little bit of a build quality issue with these. How do those feel moving those in and out? Not great. I can already hear and feel that.
You kind of have to put a bit of pressure on them, and you kind of have to Gotta convince it to come out as well too.
Okay, so same in Jeeps, so we can say that could be an R2 problem. That feels like it needs to be greased up a little bit, have a little bit more spring action there. That's something that feels not so great to me. This is also pretty hard plastic. I will say it's decently sturdy, but I can definitely...
I am surprised how sturdy that is, given other vehicles I've owned that are very flimsy.
I mean, you can press down on that. Like, I'm putting some pretty good pressure side to side, not great, but yeah, definitely the issue I have with these, if you do spill, this is just going everywhere. So do keep that in mind. Now, Eric, these finally, in a Rivian, dude, you finally have proper wireless phone heaters here.
Yep.
And these are MagSafe. So your phone actually stays here. Nice. I don't know why that was such a problem on R1. I think they went through 3 different iterations of it and they still didn't work. Every single Rivian I had here in the shop had the aftermarket wireless phone heaters on it.
These cook your phone really quick.
So I call them wireless phone heaters, bud.
It is nice to have them there, like magnetic, so they will not move around.
Yep.
Especially under like a hard acceleration or a hard stop. You're not worried about it moving forward or flying all the way to the front. So
fair enough.
Yep.
How's the armrest in here? So very different from R1. It doesn't have the dual fold. Wow, that's actually really deep.
Pretty deep. Got some USB-C ports in there, which is really nice to have.
Like that.
But overall, you know, it's a comfy driving position.
They using magnets on that? Or is it? Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Took a book out of Tesla's playbook there by using magnets everywhere. Now, guys, one of the biggest things with this, I'm not going to show all of Brandon's paperwork, you have 2 glove boxes. So you have twice the amount or 200% the amount of glove boxes as you had in R1. You didn't have those whatsoever. So they actually gave you 2. I think that's really convenient. And that's always
been good use of space.
It's very good use of space because that's always been my thing in R1. Like, you never really have a ton of place to put things, especially I know a lot of people use this down here. You just find stuff rolling around all the flipping time. Those close nice and easy. Yeah, looking pretty good. So all of this down here, really hard textured black plastic. Again, guys, this is going to get absolutely tore up in here. Yeah, this also has this little guy here. Oh wow. That's like an on and off switch. There's no like in the middle.
Nope.
So that does, I would say, feel better than that, but man, those need some massaging there. Those don't feel super premium to me. So I gotta say, most of the interior I'm really impressed by. I do want to spend a couple of minutes in here just quickly showcasing the screen, because the screen, what they've done from R1, they've actually squished this down. How'd you find the software in this so far?
It's not on Tesla's level, but it's far better than anything else that any other legacy automotive brand is coming out with.
Okay.
Like you know, considering I went from just driving Teslas, it didn't take me too terribly long to be able to figure this out, and it was good.
Okay, fair enough. So I gotta say, the cameras look super high quality. Pretty fisheye here, especially on the back end. I always love that they give you a center line here if you're hooking up a trailer. You can see the 360 camera here is all a mess because we've got all the doors open right now. But gotta say, cameras feel nice. I'm really impressed by how snappy the software is as well. This is going to be a vehicle very similar to Tesla as well. You're going to get a ton of OTA software updates. Rivian is really, really good at giving.
Got one right now.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Perfect. New version for this. So let's see what's in here. Pet comfort, gear guard, launch mode. Is this the one it already has? Wow, you can see all the stuff they've already done with R2. That's pretty flippin' sweet. Now, this thing also has a driver's display over here, which is quite an annoyance, I would say, for a lot of Tesla owners. Model Ys, Model 3s, they never had that. I think this is a nice implementation. How do you find the overall usability, sight lines through the actual wheel?
I thought it was good. Yeah, I've been driving Teslas full time since 2022, so it was a little bit weird having a screen right over here.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, it was nice. Like the dials, like they feel good. Good quality. I mean, how many YouTube videos are out there of guys talking about these? There's a
million about these, so, and the amount of functionality these have, I will tell you, in person, they feel awesome. The way you can't go all the way down. These
they don't just spin forever.
Yeah, they're really, really cool. All the different engagement you can do with that. Now the wheel, one complaint I have about it, it's not round. A steering wheel should be round in my personal opinion. I'm also noticing not so great over here on some of the stitching. This was a problem in R1 as well. You can see some of those ripples. It should be nice and tight and even throughout. So most of the wheel I would say is pretty good with that. The material on this actually feels really, really nice. Feels very high quality. All the switch gear feels really great on this. So tons of functionality up here. Gotta say, overall, this feels, Eric, what I expected with R2 was to get into one of these cars and feel like a serious downgrade from R1S. I don't really feel that sitting in the car. It feels like a very high quality experience. You have nice materials all over. Everything feels really premium until you get to the waist down. That's some of those areas I'd love to see a more premium interior, especially for the, you know, performance or most expensive R2. Maybe have some levels of different interiors. I'll be curious to see how it is in the standard version. You can also see up here we have got a really, really nice metal material right up here for all of your vents. How did you find the HVAC in this?
It was pretty good. I found where is it? Oh, right over here. You know, it's snappy. You know, you can adjust your fans really nicely. You can turn your seats on and off.
Okay, I do want to hear that, by the way. So I've heard that these are super loud.
They're very loud.
It's not on yet. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
you guys will not be able to hear that. Dude, they have some cooling power though.
Oh yes, yes they do.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, these things, they rip, especially when you're sitting in a parking lot and they're going. It makes it like you're wondering, like, what's moving? Like, what's going on? Like,
they are loud. I will say, to me, it's not an unpleasant sound. I think they're totally fine. It's kind of like just white noise behind you, which I don't find offensive at all. Dude, these might be one of the best cooled seats I've ever been in. And I own Kias. Kias are known to have one of the best cooled seats in the market.
You will find really good. You will find really quickly that you're turning the fan speed down after turning them on.
No, I want those bad boys at full rip, especially in the heat of summertime here in Colorado. Thank goodness we don't have humidity. So, Eric, one thing I want to showcase here, you're in your driving position there.
Yes.
And again, Eric is 6'4". Now, Eric can actually sit behind himself. Now, albeit you're a big dude, you're tall, you have very, very long legs. You can sit there. You wouldn't want to do a 1,000-mile road trip in this. But I will say, you know, myself sitting around that 6-foot range, plenty of room to do that.
Absolutely.
Now, Eric, this is one of the things I truly had an issue with R1S. R1S, obviously 3-row SUV. What I don't understand is how and why they compromise so much on the second row space. And in fact, my friends that had a kid actually ended up not getting an R1S because of the lack of space to actually put a child seat up there. Then you have this seat so far up. He's even taller than you are, so it just didn't work with this family. He also had a second kid. It was just impossible for them to get an R1S. Now you could argue, oh, put the kids in the third row. The whole second row situation in R1S was a disaster in my opinion. The seats were too heavy. They weren't that usable. They were hard to get into the third row. I wasn't a fan. This is impressive. They listened to customer feedback. They gave us a big second row. And have you done any sort of testing with car seats to know how these fit?
Yeah, so we filmed our own Model Y versus R2 comparison video because I own a Model Y. And we took my daughter's car seat out from behind my wife's seat in my Model Y, and we put the passenger seat in the similar position to where my wife would have it, and we had considerably more room between the seat and the car seat, whereas in the Model Y, like, the seat is pressed all the way up against car seat.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I mean, car seats are ridiculously large. I think
they
don't need to be as big as they are, but
well, if it's going to save a kid, it's worth it being a little bit bigger, I guess.
Good point.
But yeah, child seats are huge. And I think a lot of people overlook that when they buy a car. And then, you know, they're a pretty tall dude. They're big dudes like you and I are. And they throw a child seat back there and they're like, holy crap, my knees are in the front dash. to fit this child seat in there, and that's a big problem, but they did a very, very good job with that here. Now, one thing that's interesting that I'm kind of disappointed with the second row, Eric, you can't actually recline the seats.
No, you can't.
Which is kind of a bummer. So you're kind of at a fixed position. You know, this does have a pretty flat floor, but I do notice how your legs kind of sitting up, coming down at an angle. Now, the cool thing that they've actually done here, very similar to Model Y, the seats are on risers. I got to tell you already, seating position in this 10 times better than Model Y, in my opinion.
Yep.
But your feet can actually go underneath that seat there. So that does help. You have huge feet too.
Yeah.
So Eric's a big dude. But the other thing I want to mention, how much headroom you have is insane.
That's gotta be what, 5-6 inches maybe?
Even more than that potentially. I mean, that is very impressive. And again, you look at the silhouette of this thing, when Eric's standing outside of it, Eric can look all the way over the roof. They did a very, very good job in packaging. I mean, as Eric stands up there, look at how tall he it makes this thing look like a little baby. So I want to quickly run through the rear seat here. So they have the same cloth material that you find up there on the dash, same stitching here, Type-C port, you've got your dry cleaning hook here. There's also some, I believe, tablets and things that you can hook on to the back of these. It is crazy how loud these AC seats are. I can audibly hear it from standing outside of the vehicle, which is insane. Now all of this, bummer.
Cheap plastic.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Have you felt that yet?
I did now.
That feels like it costs about 3 cents. This feels like
some cheap luggage.
That feels like GM quality.
Ouch.
There. Yeah, well, GM just puts straight plastic everything. I'm very underwhelmed by that. I love the rubberized texture they did on R1. So definitely some cost-cutting measures, especially here in the back seat as well. Again, you're noticing all of this is hard plastics here. All of these scuff marks, guys, those are now permanent. This car has 2,000 miles on it. So understand, this is just going to be an issue. I'm telling you, this was the wrong move for Rivian in my impression. Spend a little bit more money, make this all carpet, do whatever you have to do for that ingress, egress, put some sort of padding or nicer material here. I think it would have been nice. What I do like though, Eric, is holy cow, did they give you some serious door pockets.
They sure
That's
did.
Not even something I even mentioned up front here. These are massive. So your wife's Nalgene, your hydro flask. I can't even keep up with what water bottle is popular now. Is it Stanley now? Yep. Or I thought they got canceled at some point.
Probably.
I don't know. But these are massive. Now, again, one of the issues here, these aren't carpeted like they are in a Tesla. So anything you put in here can completely rattle around. So don't love that. But all the materials pretty much on the rear door, exactly the same as the front one. So they feel, all the switchgear feels really, really nice. Absolutely love that. Let me pop into the second row here. You can see we've got vents down here. We've got rear heated seats right there. Man, these feel like they are out of a $20,000 Econo box. We'll be totally honest. So, a little underwhelmed by that, to be totally honest with you guys. The one thing, Eric, I'm disappointed with, this is your only air vent back here.
That's unfortunate.
This is your only air vent all the way to the back.
That's unfortunate.
That seems like a problem for me. Now, I know our friend Jose from Rivian Tracker actually just did a video today taking climate temps in multiple areas of the vehicle, and it seems to be not a problem. So hopefully they've figured out HVAC control in here. I will ask you, so you own a new Model Y Juniper with the silver coated glass. How is the heat rejection in this?
I honestly didn't notice much of a difference.
Okay, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
That's really impressive to hear.
I felt it was just as hot in this thing as it was in my Juniper.
Great. That's awesome to hear. I'm super, super glad to hear that. All right, as I fold out of the second row here, can close this up. Let's quickly show again the rear end space here, right above the V. Da, 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 da. So one of my big issues back here, Eric, plastic. So you can already see there's been stuff in here. These are all permanent scuffs.
Yep.
That's just a bummer. These are going to be used as utility vehicles, throwing crap back here, going to the grocery store. These are going to be absolutely destroyed in about 3 business days. Not just 2, 3 business days back here instead of the front end. So that, for me, you got to carpet these areas. Take a note out of Tesla's playbook. Put all of this carpet, I will say the carpet feels nice back here. Put that all down here so that stuff, when you're utilizing these spaces, isn't rattling around. It's not scuffing. It's not going to be an annoying mess there. Now, let's check out this, because this, Eric, is actually pretty impressive. That is a ton of space.
Yeah, you get the air compressor as well too.
Full size spare for sure back there.
Yep.
I love it. Now, this isn't the highest quality material. I don't care for an under trunk storage. I think it's totally fine. I am so glad to see a electric car manufacturer actually giving you space back here, because there is so many of them, you know, that are legacy OEMs. They give you no space back here. And it's like, dude, it's an electric car. What do you have back here? It's insane. Nothing. Yeah, absolutely crazy. So, Eric, I think we're pretty much at the end here. I got to say, my impressions, dude, with R2 are, they kind of nailed it.
Yes.
I really think they nailed it in terms of making a premium feeling vehicle. Would I like to see some of the materials inside feel a little nicer? Absolutely. But I also understand Rivian's in a tough place. They're trying to now make cars at volume. They're trying to financially, you know, survive as a company and start creating more and more revenue. So I do understand they had to make some compromises here.
And one thing to point out is this is Rivian's Model 3. And
it is.
I remember when Model 3 came out, I was detailing vehicles at the time, and I thought, wow, these things look really cool, but man, were they built bad. And this is built 100 times better than the Model 3s were when they first came out.
Absolutely. I am really impressed with the build quality here, and that is saying a lot for me. You know me. A lot of you who have watched this channel, watched my build quality reviews, I tear apart cars. Guys, I am impressed by this. Rivian has done a very, very nice job here. Now, the question comes to my mind, was this car prepped? I don't know. And why I mean was it prepped is you do have somebody with millions and millions of followers, Brandon Tesla Flex, who owns this vehicle. Was this car gone through? Are the early cars just super special? And again, like I said earlier in the video, that is exactly the same thing that happened with early R1Ts. So what is this car going to look like as production hell, as it's been kind of coined in R2, going to look like? Are these things going to be like the R1, where they are just having a bunch of fitment issues, panels are contacting each other? I don't know. So that'll be for upcoming videos. I want to continue to do these as Rivian ages with these cars. When they come out in the new factory, that'll be really interesting to see, to compare it to this vehicle. Guys, I am really impressed. And man, I didn't expect to come into this video like this. And the other interesting thing is, I know we talked a lot about Tesla. We are both Tesla owners, but we are not Tesla fanboys whatsoever. No. We compare these vehicles to Tesla because currently that is the gold standard. The Model Y was the best-selling car last year, and I believe the year before. They sell a metric shitload of them, to be totally frank with you.
Yes, they do.
So Rivian R2, man, this is a very compelling product that feels premium, feels like an actual true competitor. I feel like we finally have a real competitor to the Model Y in general.
Yep. Plus, and I did my own Model Y versus R2 comparison video. In my opinion, I don't even think it's a competitor. It's a completely different vehicle.
Interesting.
This thing's got soul and personality. And no offense to the Model Y, it's kind of like an appliance. Like, it's just, you know, it's a battery, 4 wheels, and some really good tech. This thing is not on the same level as Tesla when it comes to tech. But I feel like this thing, after spending 2,200 miles in it, I feel like you can take this thing like 70 miles an hour on the highway, right through a ditch, through a field. It'll be completely fine.
Right. And
it's like, I feel like this will appeal to the people who maybe don't live in a big city, who live out in the countryside or live on a farm, and they want their first EV. That's this vehicle.
Interesting.
My opinion.
I mean, the crazy thing is how many freaking Rivians we see around here. I mean, Colorado.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, Colorado, I mean, these things have become our new Subarus. They are everywhere.
Yeah.
And also, Model Ys are everywhere. So again, Okay, maybe they're not direct competitors. I personally still do think they are. I'm curious to know, what do you guys think in the comment section below? Are they competitors? Are they not? They both have their pros and cons, right? This does not have the level of autonomy a Tesla does. For some people, they will only drive a Tesla because of full self-driving. I do not live in that camp. I actually don't even have FSD on my car. I like driving my Model 3 Performance because the thing is fun as hell. And I can also tell you guys, this thing is fun as hell to drive. Check out our video from Mr. Kyle O'Connor over on Out of Spec Reviews, him hooting this thing around the track. He was just laughing like a school child kid in just absolute a candy store, drifting this thing around. This thing is actually a true piece of kit. So that's really interesting to hear from you. And I know Eric as well has said he is absolutely getting one of these when they come to Canada.
I already got the reservation in.
He's already got a reservation there, folks.
I love, just to clarify something, I love the Teslas. The Teslas are great vehicles. And I love this. And I don't think this is any threat to Tesla sales. So like for all the Tesla stockholders who are all wound up about
we don't worry about those weird
results. Like, who cares? This is not going to affect Tesla in any way, shape, or form. If anything, this is going to get way more people into electric vehicles from combustion vehicles. I'd be more concerned if I'm Chevy, Ford, Honda, Toyota, whoever's putting in a half an effort to try and build an EV.
It's a cool freaking car, guys.
It is.
I mean, this thing is freaking cool.
Again, that's my opinion.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I also agree with you. This is a very compelling product, and I think Rivian did a very good job on this vehicle. Eric, realize too, there's no perfect car out there, right? We have compromises with everything, and I hope that comes through.
Comes to mind, but I mean,
yeah, that's perfect. Porsche's on a different level, except for their electric cars. But the GT3 RS and the GT3, I would agree, absolute perfect cars. But man, I just have to say, wrapping this video up, I know we're rambling. I know this is a long video. I wanted to give R2 a spotlight here because it deserves it. They did a very good job with this vehicle. No, it's not perfect. No, it might not have the most amount of range out there, but I think a lot of people are absolutely going to love their Rivian R2. So I want to give a big shout out to Rivian for doing a very nice job building this car. I really expected Eric to come into this video and just go, wow, they have a long way to go. And I'm coming out of this going, damn, they are up there with some of the best in terms of their fit and finish on R2. It's not perfect, still some room for improvement. I can't wait to see how these are going to look. So thank you all so much for watching this video. Big shout out to Eric for filming this with me and telling me a little bit about his R2 experience. Well, now let's go take this thing back to Brandon. Big shout out to Brandon. We'll see you in the next one soon. Bye-bye.